Yeah. Good afternoon, participants. Welcome to the 35th session of this Appendix 3 exam training program. It's an online webinar. Today's topic is freight incentives. Speaker is Sri Christopher. We have to take this session. We have a speaker, Sri Christopher BD, Deputy CCM, FNS, South Central Railway. Sir, welcome, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, over to you. Please start the session.
yeah. Thank you, Mr. Nageshwar Rao.
Yeah, welcome, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so I welcome all the participants to this online webinar. So today topic we are going to discuss is about the freight incentive schemes.
Sir,
So I'm-
all are muted. Can I unmute or at the end of session, can I unmute it?
Yeah, end of session is better.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So am I audible?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So today's topic is about the freight incentives. So it is raining heavily here in Hyderabad,
Yes, sir.
and in spite of the rains, I think many are attending it.
It is advantage, sir. Online.
Yeah, advantage, and see, online session has helped us in spite of the rains, we are able to have this class. So thanks to Sitara in organizing an
Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.
online class. So I am a Deputy CCM 2006 IITS batch. I have been dealing with subjects right this Deputy CCM freight since last 3 years. I have been CNDC of Hyderabad for 3 years, and I worked in various divisions in various capacities. So the freight incentives will be an interesting subject because the incentive schemes announced, there are slew of measures introduced by the railway board recently. Since last almost 3-4 years, recently a lot of incentive schemes have been announced as policy decisions by the railway board. So this will be interesting for you to understand the incentive schemes. As you're all aware that the freight basket on Indian Railways, we get most of the revenue through the freight. So the coaching aspect, the passenger aspect, out of 1 rupee, what we earn about 67 paisa through the freight, almost 24 paisa through the coaching, and remaining through sundry and other coaching earnings. So our bread and basket is the freight. So it is very important that everybody should know the freight aspect of Indian Railways, and especially what are the various schemes announced by the Railway Board and the Indian Railways to attract the traffic. About 20-30 years back, our freight basket, our freight share on the whole transportation was 70% used to go by rail, and almost 30% used to go by road. Now it is reverse, almost only 25 to 30% is by rail, and mostly the traffic is going by road. So we should understand the.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, I presented PPT or it will be presented?
Yeah, I am presenting PPT. Yeah.
Sir, it is not seen, sir. It is not.
Yeah, I've still not shared. I'm just giving introduction.
Okay.
So once I finish my introduction, I will share the screen.
Okay, sir. Right.
So what I'm trying to say is the freight is a very important structure of Indian Railways, because the major revenue what we get is the freight, but unfortunately we are losing the competition of transportation to the road and the airways and the seaways also. So so we should pay very good attention to why we are losing the traffic, and what are the measures we should take to bring back traffic. And we should not only sustain the present traffic, but we should try to attract the new traffic. Otherwise, it's very difficult for us railways to survive in this present competitive world. So that everybody should try to understand the importance of the freight in the railway scenario. Even during COVID also, recently in COVID, railways have not stopped loading freight. So we moved essential commodities like milk, fish, vegetables, medicines, all types of commodities. In spite of the pandemic, in spite of this lockdown, complete lockdown, but Indian Railways never slept. Because we are called the lifeline of the nation. So we have moved the traffic in spite of the pandemic. So we should all, even Railway Minister and the whole country appreciated the role of Indian Railways in that. So apart from that, the importance of freight, as I was trying to share with you, that our role of freight traffic has come down drastically. We are only having a share of 20 to 25 to 30% now at present through road. So other day when the new Railway Minister, Mr. Vaishnav, was also commenting that out of 1400 million, we are only moving about 120, 1200 million, 14,000 million, we are moving about 1200 million only. The Indian Railways is able to capture very less percentage of the whole market, which through the GST portal. So he has just gone to the GST portal and he made analysis that the traffic which is moving by rail is very less. So there's a lot of potential is there. So in line of that, Railway Board has recently introduced a lot of schemes. I'm going to share with you what are the schemes introduced by Railway Board and the importance of it and how it has attracted traffic, and what are the other than freight incentive schemes. A lot of schemes have been introduced by board. That also I'm going to share with you, and hope this session will be useful to you for not only from the examination point of view, but as general knowledge point of view. Every railway employee should know the freight aspect of it. Inka screen petama. Inka screen dimpenka. Right. So I hope this screen is visible to everybody now.
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. So these are the policy initiatives introduced by as a Railway Board. As I told you recently that to promote the screen is To promote economic activities in the country, the Indian Railways has taken a number of freight policy initiatives. So what are the different freight policy initiatives that is introduced by railways? So a lot of relaxations have been provided by a slew of incentives. Business development units have been set up at board level, zonal level, division level. I think everybody is now aware of the BDUs which are established over all of Indian Railways. So the BDUs are now playing a very important, that is business development units are playing a very important role in getting additional traffic and through their marketing efforts. So these BDUs have been formed at Railway Board level, at zonal level, and at the division level. So at the Railway Board level, ED, Executive Director, is the head. At zonal railways, CCM, FM, and CFTM are the heads. At division level, Senior DCM and Senior DMs are the heads. So these people at the different levels, people are monitoring this the freight schemes and the market conditions. At board level, what they are doing is they formulate the policy and approve the proposals of zonal railways. So the board is playing important roles. So whatever proposals we are sending to Railway Board, they are being formulated as a policy and is coming in form of policy to zonal railways for implementation. So what is zonal railway doing? Zonal railways retain the existing traffic and create more volumes and revenues and forward proposals to board received from the customers of the divisions. So whatever the proposals which we are receiving from the divisions, the customers, we are forwarding, we are studying them, and trying to create more revenue, and we are forwarding the proposals to railway board. And what is the division doing? Division is trying what they're creating and promoting business through interacting with business entities and marketing. So the division level is a very key level, and all the CMIs and the TIs and both commercial operating, all the departments are involved in this, and they are trying to go to the doorstep of the customer, trying to understand their needs, and they are trying to see what best can be done, and what is the road rate, and what is the rail rate, and what type of incentive should be given to the customer, and how the customer will feel happy, and how we can divert the road traffic or other modes of traffic through rail. So they are playing a very major important role on South Central Railway. Lot of meetings are being held with the customers at the ground level, and we have almost every week we have a meeting with general manager and CFTMs in South Central Railway to have an interaction with the divisional BDU, and we are trying to understand what they are doing and what is the additional traffic they have planned, what they have attracted, and what is the plan to sustain the existing traffic. So they all give their PowerPoint presentation to the general manager, and we at zonal level we whatever the proposals they submit to us for in the form of request for a new scheme for additional freight incentive, we send it to railway board. So I'm very happy that I'm very proud that South Central Railway has been very pioneer in asking railway board, and we have recommended so many schemes, and they have come out in the form of a policy letters to all railways. So that is being implemented also. For example, round trip concession is the brainchild of South Central Railway. We have actually proposed to the railway board, and it has come in the form of policy. So what are the various freight incentives? The various freight incentives, strictly speaking, the freight incentives are only 4 types: traditional empty flow direction, loading of bagged consignment in open and flat wagons, freight forwarder schemes, and the incremental traffic. Of course, incremental traffic, that scheme is no more there. So at present, we have only 3 schemes, that is traditional empty flow direction, loading of bagged consignments in open and flat wagons, and freight forwarder schemes. So these 3 schemes are now presently available with the Indian Railways. On South Central Railway, we are availing, the customers are availing only the 2 schemes, that is traditional empty flow direction and loading of bagged consignment in open and flat wagons. The freight forwarder scheme is not so popular on South Central Railway, but I'm going to explain to you the complete these 3 schemes in detail. And apart from the 3 schemes, I'm going to explain what are the other policies, other incentive schemes which has been announced by railway board apart from this. So as I told you, traditional empty flow direction. So what is traditional empty flow direction? You might be aware that a company, a cement, let it be a cement factory or a iron steel factory, or whatever the factory it is there. So if they're moving any items, any commodities by road, so what they look when they give the contract to road, so the contractor basically will not come back empty. So they try to move the commodity, and also they try to bring back the empties in loaded conditions. So that is how it is an important aspect for the road vehicle movers, road contractor, that they will not bring back the lorries in empty direction. So they go in a loaded direction, but they come back and also loading something in the return direction. So that is how it is useful to them. So that now it will work out to them. That is a very good feasibility. So railways also, we also are having this empty flow direction. So when the rake goes in a loaded direction, loaded condition, comes back in the empty direction. So we don't want to incur any other additional expenditure, because empty run will be increasing the operating ratio in Indian Railways. So railway board has formulated this policy called concession during traditional empty flow direction. So when you load a rake, when it's coming back empty, so there is certain percentage of concession given to the customer, so that the rake which we run, instead of coming empty, we have some freight and some revenue to that. So that is the basic idea of having this traditional empty flow direction. So the study show the objective of this is to reduce empty run ratio on Indian Railways and to garner additional revenue to railways, to reduce this empty run ratio and to get additional revenue. So that is the main objective of this scheme. So what does it do? It gives automatic rebate through computerized FOI system. So it will not be no manual intervention will be there. Automatic rebate will be given through the FOI system. And what are the streams? There are notified streams on TAFD, that is steady empty flow direction, shall be based on the flow of empties between divisions in case of intrazonal traffic and between divisions to other zones in case of interzonal traffic. So based on the empty flows of based on the flow of empties between divisions on the same zone, that is called intrazonal traffic, or it is from one zone to other zone, the empties are flowing in that direction, then that is called interzonal. So these streams are identified, and whenever the traffic is moved through this direction, you get this traditional empty flow direction. And traffic under TFD can be booked from end to end or from any terminal of originating division of the empty flow stream to any intermediate terminal in the direction of the empty flow. So that can be the traffic. So whenever the empties are flowing, so if the customer books from A to B, so loaded condition A to B and come back empty from B to A. So if he loads from B to A, certain concessions is offered to the traffic automatically, and it can be booked from end to end or from the originating division of the empty flow stream to any intermediate terminal of the direction of empty flow. So it can book from a intermediate point also. That is, suppose two divisions are there and some division is in the intermediate, same traffic is originating from that division and it's booked to any intermediate direction, intermediate terminal direction and the empty flow, still that division also will get some concession. So it need not be from end to end, it can be from the other division also. So what are the permitted wagons? In case of open wagons, the Boxen group, BOST, BOST groups are the permitted wagons. In case of covered, it is BCN and BCNHL. In case of flat wagons and mixed tail, it is BRN, BOST and Concord. So these are three types of rakes are there. So it depends on this type of wagons, the concession is extended. Hope I'm audible and I'm clear. So anybody is having any doubts, you can please write down. That can be discussed at the end of the session. So as I told you earlier, the concession at TFD will be interzonal and intrazonal. So what is the percentage of concession? The percentage of concession will be either 20% or 15%, subject, like depends on the flow of the stream. So in which direction it is moving and under what rake, type of rake it is loaded, then the concession is decided, and it can be either 20% or 15%. So based on the commodities. But not all commodities are permitted. The restricted commodities are, you cannot load, the concession is not extended to iron ore, coal and coke, chemical manures, POL, RMC, military, commodities of class 100 and 100A and less than LR1. So these are all the restricted commodities. I repeat, iron ore is not allowed, coal and coke is not allowed, chemical manures is not allowed, POL traffic will not be allowed, RMC, military traffic, commodities under class 100 and 100A and less than LR1, they don't get this type of concession when they move in the empty flow direction. And there's some lead restrictions. So short lead traffic of less than or equal to 100 kilometers shall not be eligible under this scheme. So short lead traffic of less than 100 kilometers is not eligible under the scheme. And minimum offer of the number of wagons is, in case of covered wagons like BCN, BCNA, BCNHS, it is minimum 10 wagons, or BCNHL 10 wagons. In case of open group, the minimum will be half rake, that is 29 wagons. So, but the condition, one more condition is, the traffic booked under this scheme shall not be rebooked, diverted, or given delivery short of destination. So this traffic booked under TFD shall not be rebooked, shall not be diverted or given short of delivery of destination. So rebooking again will attract vigilance case. because already the traffic is already enjoyed the concession from original destination. Again, suppose you rebook it, and it should not again be getting the concession again. So rebooking is not permitted, diversion is not permitted, or delivery short of destination is not permitted. Because in South Central Railway, we had one case of a vigilance case that a customer has booked from A to B, and the CGSR again has rebooked to some other place, and it was booked by vigilance. So this is about TFD. So as I told you, this TFD based on the annexures. So if you go to this policy, which I have told you earlier, which I have highlighted in the first slide. So based on the policy, if you can understand the policy, then you will have the annexures in the policy. And it is very clearly mentioned for all the 3 types of wagon types, and from moving from one zone to other zone, from one division to other zone, how much concession is they're going to get, it is mentioned. So it's very difficult for me to show all this because it is an almost 20-page circular. For me, it's not possible to show it in the slide, but please go to the circular, which I mentioned. Circular number is mentioned in the first slide. So please go through that, and you can understand from which stream to which stream it is running, and which stream is eligible for concession. But the main highlights of the scheme I have just told you. So this is the main highlights of TFD. So on South Central Railway, almost we are giving about 65 lakhs to 1 crore per day. The concession is being extended. So and we are also getting additional traffic, because whatever the empty run which we are running, it's now we are getting in traffic through that. So this is the minimum, this is about the traditional empty flow direction. So this is a very important scheme. All over the Indian Railways, it is available. So if the traffic moves from Northern Railway to Southern Railway, or Northern Railway to South Central Railway, if the empty flows is flowing from Northern to North to South Central Railway, then the traffic automatically, instead of coming empty, it is being extended, concession is being extended, but not to all commodities. What I've told you, what are the restricted commodities, I've told you what are lead instructions, and what is the minimum of a traffic a customer should give to avail this concession. So that is the next scheme is the freight incentive scheme of loading in of bag consignment in open and flat wagons. So this is one more scheme. So because normally what happens is if you load a bagged commodity in open wagon, they get wet, they get damaged. So especially in rainy seasons. Unfortunately, we have very less stock of covered wagons on Indian Railways. So the demand is more, but the supply of rakes are less. So in order to attract, to divert these bagged commodities through open wagons where we have sufficient availability of the rakes. So this policy was introduced by the Railway Board to Rate Circular 27 of 2016. So the objective of the scheme is to garner additional volume of traffic and revenue by granting incentive to customers for loading of bagged consignment. So the basic idea is that the loading of bagged consignment in open wagons, there is a percentage of concession is given, so that the commodities like especially food grains, cement, China clay, so all these are extended concession, though they can come by open wagons, they can cover the tarpaulin, and they can move by rail. So if they are taking the risk, so a lot of companies now, especially cement companies now, they are taking risk because they have a lot of demand, and but the supply of rakes is less. So they are coming to they're willing, and they are loading by flat wagons, open wagons like Boxen, and flat wagons like BRN. So they're loading them, and they are moving the commodities. And successfully also, very few complaints have come, but risks they are taking it, and they are also enjoying a concession of 20%. So in case of fly ash and urea, concession is 30%. In case of cement, China clay, chemical manures, de-oil cake, soapstone powder, hydrated lime, quick lime, bentonite, zinc, chalk powder, calcite powder, calcined bauxite, marble chips, and caustic soda. So these, if you can observe, these commodities are highly hydrated commodities, which will attract the moisture and get damaged. So they only prefer to move by covered wagons. But now the companies are taking risk. They are covering properly the tarpaulins, good tarpaulins available. So they're loading by open wagons like box wagons and covering them and sending them successfully in that, availing the concession of 20% and 30%. So what is the flow rate? The flow rate, minimum chargeable freight for all concessions should not be less than LR1. All terminals are, including ports, are permitted. So there is no restriction. We can book from X, Y, Z, from siding to siding, siding to ports, siding to goods shed to ports. So there is no restrictions. But there is a lead. It should not load less than 100 kilometers. So apart from that, the customer will also get concession if he is loading to northeastern states, another 6% concession, but it will be discounted on NTR traffic only. So that we should understand, suppose 100 rupees is the freight and concession, suppose 25%, 20-30% concession given, 70 rupees. On 70 rupees, again you'll get 6% concession, that will be around 62 rupees on the left. So that will be given on NTR only. So both the 6% concession and the TFD concession party can avail. So it is to encourage that commodities we need to move to northeastern states. So commodity should only be loaded in standard bags of maximum 100 kgs. Tarpaulins, if any, of covering the wagon should be provided by the consigner at their own cost. So 100 kgs, I think now it has come to 250 kgs. I'm just checking up. And the tarpaulins should be provided by consigner at its own cost. Consigner will be required to furnish and undertaking the following note, giving the consent to loading open, because it's not railway responsibility. It is a risk. It is a customer risk. So they should give an undertaking that loading in open wagons, they're going to bear the full risk and for damage and pilferage of the consignment. And supply of the wagons for loading the scheme will be subject to operational feasibility. So these are the conditions. They should be loaded only standard bags or 100 kgs or 250 kgs. So tarpaulin should provide the customer at its own cost, and they should give undertaking that any damages, any pilferage, the customer is only responsible. So apart from that, as I told you earlier, 30% was given fly ash. Now Railway Board recently in 2020, letter dated 3/8 of 2020, they have increased the fly ash. Fly ash is a very, very, very important commodity now. I think almost all the power plants, they generate this fly ash. Fly ash is being used in various other modes, like it's being used widely in on laying of roads. Now fly ash bricks. Now almost all the apartments, all the buildings now are being constructed on the fly ash because they are light and very strong also. So the construction also is very easy, and there will be less load bearing, and a lot of roads are being laid. That is the reason why there's a lot of demand to use this fly ash. So the cement customers especially, they are trying to get this fly ash to manufacture in the cement. So the fly ash is in huge demand, but the power plants, actually they are also some scheme, they are giving freely also the fly ash. So railway is trying to garner this, attract this, and corner this movement of fly ash. So they have introduced these schemes called the incentive scheme for movement of fly ash. So 40% concession is available if you are trying to load in open and flat wagons. So bag commodities, if you are loading in open and flat wagons, you are getting 40% concession. The customer is given 40% concession. So it can be bagged or bulk or loose in tanks. In flat wagons, if you are able to load, 40% concession is given if you are loading in bag consignments. And if you are loading in covered wagons, it will be charged NTR of the class LR1. So bag consignment loaded in covered wagons, you are getting LR1 class. If you are loading bag consignment in flat wagons, you are getting 40% concession. If you are loading bagged bulk in loose condition, again you are getting 40% concession, whether loading in open or flat wagons. So 40% is really useful on South Central Railway. I think 4 or 5 customers like Ultratech, Kalburgi, ACC. So they're all availing this fly ash, this incentive scheme of 40% concession. So mostly they are loaded in special type of wagons called BCFC wagons or BCCW wagons. So they're able to get wonderful concession this. So what are the conditions? In case of loading of fly ash, customer must ensure hydrating the fly ash and covering the wagons with tarpaulins at its own cost. So the customer should ensure that they should sprinkle this fly ash with water and cover with tarpaulins at its own cost. Tarpaulins, if any, for covering the bagged fly ash in open wagons should also be provided by the customer at its own cost. So the customer should provide the tarpaulin at his own cost. And the customer will be required to furnish an undertaking the forwarding note that loading in open bar flat wagons, they would bear the full risk and responsibility for any damage and pilferage. So it's completely the responsibility of the customer. And what are terminals permitted? All terminals are permitted. So what are the concurrent concessions? As I told you earlier, now if you load to northeastern, 6% concession is there. When transport TFDs, the lower of the two NTRs, the TFD stream is loaded, you get the lower of the two NTRs. So if it's 140, 120 class, you'll get 120 class difference, 120 what of the NTR will be charged. For the purpose of LTTC scheme, the revenue actually paid to IR should be taken AGFR. So this I'll try to explain to you later on when we go to the scheme called LTTC, long-term tariff contract. So this is about the loading of the bagged commodity in open wagons and loading of fly ash, also what railway has announced and what are the various concessions they get and in what type of wagons they load and how it is useful them to carry by rail. So hope everyone understood this two schemes, and third scheme which is not available on South Central Railway, but I'm trying to explain to you, that is called a freight forward scheme. I think it's not available in South Central, but maybe available in other railways also. Still, I'm going to explain to you briefly about this in freight incentive for freight forwarders. So this scheme is basically to facilitate cargo aggregation and thereby expand the commodity basket of railways. So basically, this scheme is to aggregate the cargo. So suppose you have cement and other things and 2-3 commodities, and they want to aggregate, and a cargo aggregator will come forward. They want to load 2-3 items together, and he wants to move. That is permitted, and he'll be given some concession. I'm just going to show about this. But what are the restricted commodities? The following are the commodities restricted: coal in all its variants, coke in all its varieties, iron ore, pea oil, traffic moved in privately owned wagons, including ammonia wagons, wagon leasing scheme, such as cement in loose, bulk, food grain in bulk, caustic soda, LPG, ammonia, phosphoric acid. All these are restricted. Traffic loaded from ports are not permitted. Container traffic is not permitted. Military traffic is not permitted. RMC is not permitted. Marine gypsum is not permitted. So these are the restricted commodities. So this basically, this scheme, I'm repeating, this scheme is to aggregate the different commodities and try to mix them and send by rail. Like in parcels, what happened? What does the leaseholder or the parcel aggregator, what they will do? He will try to mix all the commodities. He will try to mix perishable. He will try to mix eggs. He will try to mix hard almirahs, hard parcels. He will try to mix everything and send by VP or SLR. So likewise, also this scheme is extended to certain commodities which they can mix and send it by wagons. Further, in case of wagons loaded with more than 2 commodities, the following shall not be permitted. So, sorry, all types of ores and minerals, cement, food grain, chemical manures, iron steel, these are not permitted. The minimum chargeable freight for all concessions should not be less than NTR of class LR1. It cannot be less than LR1. All goods sheds only permitted. Lead restriction, only minimum 700 kilometers is you should load. The permitted wagons are covered wagons, box and wagons, and flat wagons. So these are the type of wagons which are permitted. Lead restriction is 700 kilometers. Permitted terminals is goods sheds. the flow rate should not be less than LR1. So these are the conditions. So what is the type of concession they're going to get? So individual wagons loaded with a single commodity. If he loads no restriction, any number of wagons he can load. And what is the benefit? Train load for each wagon for the commodity loaded. So for each wagon, the commodity, normally for wagon load, for loading in a single wagon, we give only train wagon load benefit. But in this case, he can get train load benefit for each wagon also. So individual wagons loaded with a single commodity, if he loads, he will get train load benefit for each wagon. Suppose he loads individual wagons loaded with two commodities. The top one is a single commodity, B is two commodities. And what is the benefit is going to get? Train load rate for each wagon for the higher class of the two commodities loaded. So train load for higher class for the two commodities, you'll get train load benefit. C is if he loads more than two commodities. A is one commodity, B is two commodities, C is more than two commodities. But the number of wagons should not be more than 10 wagons. The composite class rate will be 120 class only. Even if it's higher class also, we are going to give him a concession. We're going to charge him at the rate of class 120 only. And apart from that, the customer can enjoy 6% concession applicable to the traffic loaded to and from northeast states concurrently with this scheme. So this 6% concession to northeast state concurrently the customer can avail. Apart from the above concession, he can get another further 6% concessions. Okay, now I'll just give a brief pause here. So I request that because these three schemes which I have announced, which I have explained to you are very important, and if any doubts, please let me know so that we have interactive class so that I can also understand that we have that you have understood it and really you're getting benefit from it. So any doubts you can please ask me.
Yeah, participants, please raise your hands so that we'll unmute and we can clarify those. Yes, Mr. Bhamman Kumar, please unmute.
Sir, good afternoon. Sir, ये full form, what is the full form POL?
Petroleum.
Sir,
oil
full form of POL.
Yeah, petroleum, oil, and LPG.
Sir, same thing. RMC stand for, sir?
RMC stands for Railway Material Consignments. RMC like ballast rail material, rails, sleepers, or all RMC track.
Yeah.
Sir, एक term और थी sir, OYWS and WIS, फिर LWIS wagons.
हाँ जी. Yeah. उसका form है, that is called Own Your Wagon Scheme. O stand for owner wagon, Own Your Wagon Scheme.
Sure.
LWIS Liberalized Wagon Investment Scheme.
Sir, अभी एक term आ रही थी NTR of class LR1. And what is the full form of NTR?
NTR is normal tariff rate. अभी जो ऐसा है, एक रेट आपके पास गुड्स टैरिफ में एक बेसिक रेट था, उसके ऊपर डेवलपमेंट सरचार्ज, बिजी सीजन सरचार्ज, जीएसटी सब लगेगा जी. So NTR is only consisting of basic freight plus development surcharge.
Sir, एक और क्वेश्चन है. What is the concept of a composite class rate?
What is the
composite class rate?
Combined rate. That is called composite class rate is nothing but combined rate. मतलब it is a class rate 120 class rate. आपको goods tariff में दिखेगा. It is class 120 के लिए एक अलग सा tariff होगा. वो rate है.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Any more queries?
No,
Sir, some queries in the chat box, sir.
Okay.
Sir, will you read out or can I read out, sir?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, sir. One is what is NTR?
अभी बताया ना, NTR is normal tariff rate.
Normal tariff rate. Yes. Another is kindly explain TEFD. I think it is already explained. So one query, kindly explain TEFD. I think he wants expansion or something.
That is already explained. The traditional empty flow direction. That is already explained in detail.
Yeah. POL, it is there, petroleum, oil, and lubricants. What is LR, sir?
LR, that's the lowest class. So lowest class like husk, that is very light commodity. That is defined as LR1, LR2, LR3 class. Low rated commodity. LR is low rated commodity.
NTR, it is already explained, someone again queried, and another query is station to station rate.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. I'm going to explain to you in that detail about that. So before I rush through the presentation, I want to understand, I want to make sure that everybody understands.
Yes.
Any doubts that gets cleared, it will be very useful to everybody.
Yes, participants, any more queries? Yeah, commodities under 100 and 100A, please discuss. Bikramjit Mitra. Yeah, Bikramjit, please raise your hand. I will unmute. Sir, his query is what are the commodities under 100 and 100A?
No, Abhi, that is already available in the goods tariff. Please let him go to the goods tariff. You can find it.
Okay, sir. I think no queries from the participants as of now, sir.
Okay, fine. I think then I'm understanding that everybody's able to understand my presentation.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go ahead because
Yes, sir.
time is very short. We have to discuss a lot of things.
Yes, sir.
Then after again 4 or 5 slides, I'm going to have a break. Then we can discuss about any doubts are there.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So somebody asked this WLS. So wagon leasing scheme. So we have almost 4 types of leasing schemes are now available now. 5 types now almost. LSFTO, that is called Liberalized Special Freight Train Operator Scheme, that is now presently available now. Now there is a latest scheme which is announced by Railway Board. So this basically that is for now, as I told you earlier, that Indian Railways, the availability of rake, there's huge market, but there is shortage of availability of rakes. So what now the board has announced a policy is that the customers can buy their own rakes, or they can get it leased from some wagon manufacturer company. So we have wagon manufacturing company like Texpaco, Gatix, some few companies are there. From there, they can purchase their wagons and or they can take lease from them and they can move their commodities on these wagons. And what is the benefit they're going to get? Railway is extending some freight concession to them. So these are all, they can own your wagons. So basically to own your wagons. So instead of putting an indent, waiting for the rake to come and the rake to move, so it is all very cumbersome. Suppose we are not able to supply rakes in the peak time, the customer will lose his market. See, now in order to avoid that, in order to encourage for the customers to buy their own wagons, own rakes, so this scheme has been introduced. So one of the scheme is LSFTO, that is Liberalized Special Freight Train Operated Scheme. On South Central Railway, we have one customer who is already got the permission, and two customers. So one rake they are already getting it from West Bengal. Now it's moving to South Central Railway, and next is AFTO, that is Automobile Freight Train Operators. So all type of automobile like your cars, your 3-wheelers, autos, small lorries, and all, they can all move in a special wagons called the Automobile Freight Train Operators. So they have their own type of rakes, wagons, they can move this automobile traffic. And general purpose wagon investment. So this is one more scheme where they get concession for 10% for 15 years. In LSFTO, they get 12% for 20 years. And this wagon leasing scheme also, now it is not yet superseded by LSFTO. So that also scheme is available where they can get the wagons to the lease. So coming to LSFTO, as I told you, LSFTO, Liberalized Special Freight Train Operator Scheme, is a wonderful scheme wherein a customer can buy or get a lease from the wagon manufacturer. So he has to apply to Railway Board. Now recently, Freight Business Portal has been opened, so he can apply through that. And there are some conditions that not everybody are eligible for this. They have to have certain turnover and all. So what are the commodities they are eligible? That's all mentioned because its time is very short. I cannot explain to you in detail about that. So they get a freight concession of 12% for 20 years. So automobile freight train operators also, they have this own flat wagons, the specially designed wagons, they can purchase it and they can move this, especially the Maruti Suzuki, all these car manufacturers, they're utilizing this, they're buying their own rakes and they're moving. These are timetable trains. They're going to be timetabled and their journey is defined and is guaranteed, and they're going to enjoy some special freight concession which is announced by Railway Board from time to time, from place to place where they move. So depending on the type of wagons and the type of commodity, Railway Board is extended some freight concession to them. The general purpose wagon scheme is not that popular, but still they can purchase general purpose wagon like box and VCN, and they get a freight concession of 10% 15 years. These are all wagon leasing schemes. So what are the other incentives apart from that? Sorry. And for Railway Board, one is LTTC, long-term tariff contract scheme for traffic, both in incremental or retention or both. So this is also one of the most popular scheme, but it has been discontinued by Railway Board recently from 2020 onwards. So the scheme is no more there, but a lot of customers have availed this scheme on this long-term tariffs. So the tariff will be constant. If suppose the tariff is increased during their agreement period, for that particular year, the tariff is not increased to them. The tariff will be constant to them, and they have to enter into a long-term contract with railways, either through 3 years or 5 years. I'm going to explain the coming slide what are the salient features of that. But all customers are not eligible. Only the customers who are giving 1 million tons or retention of 5 million tons, they are eligible for this scheme. Station to station scheme. Somebody asked this question. So the maximum percentage under this scheme is 30% rebate is given to them. So the station to station, at the name itself, it says that suppose a customer wants to load a commodity from station A to station B, from one particular station to other particular station, then to encourage that customer, we are going to give you some concession up to 30%. So that is on the incremental basis only. So basically, if the customer is given a benchmark, suppose the customer crosses the benchmark, then he will be eligible to be given some concession. So on South Central Railway, about 29 customers have been given concession on them. So they are availing the concession and they are given additional traffic because of the concession extended to them. We could catch them and we could divert the road traffic to rail, and because of the concession extended to them, so we are getting traffic by rail. And one more scheme is called merry-go-round scheme. That is called MGR scheme, where the track is by the owner only. Especially the NTPC is availing, Singareni Colony is availing this scheme on South Central Railway. So it will be their own track, and we are going to provide them the rakes. So they're going to load, and only some lump sum rate is divided, not a regular rate of the goods tariff, but lump sum rate is defined to them. A lot of concessions given to them, and they give us the committed traffic to us. As a result, for this short lead, about 20 kilometers will be distance. That is like a garland. The traffic will be laid around a track will be laid. So the rakes are going to move from X to Y in the merry-go-round. That's called merry-go-round scheme. So terminal development, such as suppose the customer develops his own terminal, then terminal development scheme also is there, and no terminal charges, now 20 rupees per ton is the terminal charges, that is not be levied to them. Engine on load scheme, that is called EOL, and under EOL, they are given this free time of 3 hours for loading and 5 hours for unloading in case of open box and wagons. So that's under this scheme, when the engine is placed on the rake itself, and if the customer uses the engine within the 3 hours, he will not be charged shunting charges. But the customer is using the rake after 3 hours after the EOL free time, then the customer is charged shunting charges, but no staff cost will be levied to the customer. So this scheme is a very good scheme, so that the turnaround of the wagons also is improved, and the customer also will get the benefit of the staff cost. So roll-off scheme is not that popular. Now the Railway Board is studying that proposal. And private freight terminals, and the customer can start his own private freight terminals, and that is that they have to submit the DPR just like siding, and their 20 rupees per ton is waived off to them. They get their 20 rupees per ton. So this is about the various schemes. somebody was asking about the STS. I told So Railway Board was under Rate Circular 26 of 2016. This scheme was announced. So this scheme is concession will be granted only on incremental basis over and above the benchmark. So what is the use if they load the same commodity, then they are not going to get any benefit. So the idea is some benchmark is fixed. So if the customer loads over and above the benchmark only, then that concession is extended to them. That is called incremental traffic. So that is applicable to only specific stream of traffic and commodity from X to Y and some specific commodity like maize, clinker, cement and all. The stock or type of stock is block rake, 2-point rake and mini rake. They are eligible for station rates. So excluded commodities are all commodities below the class 100 not eligible. Commodities under main head commodity coal and coke not eligible. Coal and coke, iron ore is not eligible. Military traffic is not eligible. POL, RMC is not eligible for STS concession. So the maximum percentage of concession you can get is 30%. As I told you, this concession is on the freight rates under STS will be applicable to a specific stream of trade for particular commodity for movement between a specific pair of trade. So it is for a specific stream and a specific commodity and under a specific pair of OD, originating destination. So the idea is basically the overall NTKMs. NTKMs is net ton kilometers. Net ton kilometers. So net ton kilometers is nothing but tonnage. Suppose the rake is loaded, that is 4,000 tons for a box and rake. How many kilometers has gone? 4,000 into 100 kilometers, so 40,000. 4 lakh kilometers is the NTKMs benchmark. So basically the NTKMs of the station should increase. So that means there should be real diversion of traffic from road to rail. So the customer should give more than the traffic which is already is loading. So suppose he is loading 4 rakes per month. At least he should give 6 rakes per month. For the 2 rakes over and above, he'll get that concession called STS concession. But there is one condition is there, that is it will be cluster will be defined. Cluster means because to prevent diversion. Suppose 150 kilometers, 2-3 stations are there. So what happens? Suppose one station X he wants to load. What he will do is he will bring the traffic from Y and Z, and he will load from X, so that he'll try to get the benefit of this concession. So in order to prevent that, Railway Board has defined a cluster. So within 150 kilometers, all the stations which are falling within 150 kilometers, they're going to, operating department is going to define the cluster. So wherever you load from this cluster, the NTKMs has to be exceeded. So he should exceed the cluster NTKMs. Then only he will get the concession. So what is benchmark NTKM? The benchmark NTKM is defined as average NTKMs of the corresponding period of previous 24 months. So 24 months period, last 24 months, last 2 years average NTKMs, what he has done, that is defined as the benchmark. So he has to cross this benchmark of the last 24 months, average of the last 24 months. Then only he'll be eligible to get this concession. So that is about STS. So one more concession called the distance-based concession for clinker. So specifically for clinker, because for clinker, a lot of customers, this is also what South Central has recommended to Railway Board. So based on South Central Railway recommendations, Board has announced its policy, especially the customers who are loading in long distance. Earlier, they were not eligible for any concession. So they were going by road. So now, as you're all aware, that the road highways have increased like anything. 40 tonners have been introduced, and highways now, national highways, all the roads are wonderfully laid. All the major cities are linked. So there slowly the traffic is going by road, because from the door delivery, the customer is getting from door to door delivery. But otherwise, from railways, the customer has to get from this go down to the railway station. From the railway station, again he has to unload at the railway station. Again railway station, he has to carry it to his market or to his siding. So a lot of multiple handling is there. So that's the reason why we are losing the customer. So unless we give them some concession, the customers are going to run away from railways. So this clinker, what we found is this clinker traffic for more than 1,000 kilometers, the clinker traffic is going by road. So this is concession. Board has announced 25% concession, almost they're getting it once they cross this benchmark. So the benchmark, what they defined is whatever the lead for more than 1,000 kilometers, what they have done from April 20 to March 21, that is the benchmark. If they cross the benchmark, then 25% concession is extended to them. Only condition is they should not be in TFD concession. So more than 1,000 kilometers, the clinker is loaded more than the benchmark the last year, that's April to March, 25% concession is given to the customer for clinker trap. So I told you about STS, I told you about wagon leasing schemes, and again I'm explaining to you about, I told you about the clinker traffic, graded concession for clinker traffic. And now the fourth one is the round trip traffic concessions. So this is also empty run. Now this apart from the TFD which I have announced, this round trip, suppose now what we have seen during the interaction with the various customers, we found that a customer is going from A to B, again from B to A, he's again getting something by road. So from A to B is going by rail, but from B to A is coming by road. Why? The return traffic is costlier to them, but our rakes are coming empty. So this round trip, what we have studied is when the concession is offered the round trip, then why don't we offer this concession to the customer so that the customer completely from A to B and B to A comes by rail. So we should give some concession. So based on recommendation, Railway Board has announced this policy that is called round trip concession, round trip traffic concession, round trip traffic rates. So this concession is offered, and the objective is to reduce empty run. So from A to B, we are getting loaded, we are running a loaded direction. Again, from B to A, it's coming empty. So in order to prevent that, suppose the customer offers the return direction also, then we are going to give him concession, certain type of concession. I'm going to explain to you what is the concession. But not all commodities are permitted. The commodities, restricted commodities, iron ore, container, POL, military traffic, RMC, and traffic below class 100, they are not eligible. But he has to again cross the benchmark. If it's not crossing the benchmark, there's no point. Again, the same traffic, we are going to end up in giving the concession to the same traffic. So what is the benchmark? Monthly average of commodity NTKMs achieved in the previous 24 months or commodity NTKMs in the same month of the previous year, whichever is higher, benchmarks are commodity as well as direction wise. So monthly average of commodity NTKMs achieved in the previous 24 months. So previous 24 months, what he has done monthly average, if he crosses that average of previous 24 months, then that particular month, if he is crossing that benchmark, then automatically system will give him concession that is called round trip traffic concession, RTT. So charging. So what is the concession going to get? Outward traffic. Suppose there are two types of commodities. One is lower class while going, that is outward class 150, and while return is bringing class 160. So at return direction, he'll be charged class 150 instead of class 160. So that is the concession. So instead of charging class 160, we'll be charging class 150 only. That is lower class while going lower class. Suppose the customer is taking commodity of class 150 while going, and while returning is coming back commodity 160 class. So instead of charging 160, we will be charging only 150. So that is scenario 1. Then scenario 2 is, suppose a customer is carrying class 150, that is carrying higher class outward and coming back return lower class, then the charging will be 140 less difference between 140 and 150. So return direction will be charging only one difference. Instead of charging 140, we'll be charging difference of 150 and 140. Suppose both outward and inward is same, then the charging will be done 10% less than the class. For coal and coke, concession is capped equivalent to 10% applicable of freight. So on Southern Railway, now 4 customers applied for this RTT concession that is under process. Okay, I'm just these 5 concessions I explained. I'm going to stop here. Any doubts, please let me know quickly so that I can proceed ahead. I have a lot of slides to cover. Please, any doubts, let them ask quickly.
Participants, please raise your hands. Sir, in the meantime, some queries in the chat boxes, sir.
Can you read, please?
Yeah. How to increase earning by railway traffic? I think it's a general question.
The subject is, today's subject is that only.
Yes, yes. What is offensive goods?
Offensive good is separate subject. So that again, it's very difficult for me to cover in this because there is basically parcels matter.
Yeah. And someone is asked, please explain in detail regarding station to station rates.
I have already explained to you station to station rates.
Yes,
If
sir.
you have any specific doubt, the
Yes.
concerned employee, please ask. Any specific?
Participants, any specific doubt about the topic, please raise your hand. Yeah. What is clinker traffic?
Clinker, that's what. Clinker is when you grind clinker, you get cement.
Yeah, yes, sir. It is in the production process of cement.
Yeah.
It is a type of material. They thought it is another type of traffic. It's a material. Yeah. Participants, any more queries? Sir, difference between TEFD and RTT in terms of wagon movement.
That's what. TEFD is return direction. You will get some concession. If you are loading in the return direction, you're going to get some concession. But in RTT, you have to load in the round trip, basically. That is outward and inward.
Yes.
So the same rake is marked. It is here marked. The rake, suppose the box end goes from A to B, again comes from B to A. Suppose the rake is marked, it is tagged in the system. So that will be the rake, the same rake should come back again. Then the concession is extended, as I told you how charging is done. I explained to you about that. So TFD is nothing but when coming in the return direction, if you load in the particular stream of traffic, then you get this concession. In case of round trip, it should be a round trip from outward and inward also.
Any more queries? Hope no queries, sir. You can continue the session.
Yeah, thank you. So I told you about this long-term tariff concession also. I explained to you. So I told you that all the customer who is giving us 1 million tons per annum and is only eligible for this concession. So big customers are only eligible concession. So the agreement will be for not less than 3 years and not more than 5 years. The customer entering into agreement. So basically this is to garner the additional traffic from the road to rail. So this concession is basically extended to big customers who are going by road, either by road or by ship. So we are extending some concession so that they can replan their logistics and to get this benefit of some concession, so they can bring that traffic which is going by road, either by road or by sea. So that if they come and give the more traffic than the last year, then if they show some incremental traffic, then this concession is extended. So this is a big subject which I cannot explain in a matter of 5 minutes. Later, a lot of time will be taken. Some kind of benchmark is given to them. That is called, the customer has to give some minimum guaranteed gross. So he has to offer some minimum guaranteed freight revenue, and from that every year he has to increase by 5%. So when they increase by 5%, then they will get this concession. So the percentage of rebate, the percent of concession will be based on how much they have increased the traffic, how much incremental traffic growth is there. Based on that, the concession is defined. As I told you, under the scheme, the customer shall be offered a fixed freight rate at a prevalent date during the beginning of each year of the agreement period. Increase in freight rates midway in a year shall not be passed on to the customer. So in this case, a customer enter into an agreement, suppose in each agreement period, suppose there's a railway board is announced, Minister of Railways announced some freight increase, hike in the prices. This hike in the prices will not be applicable to this customer who is under LTTC, under this particular scheme, for that year only. But the freight increase will be from the next year. Rebate in case of retention of traffic. Under this policy, the rebate should also be granted or retention of traffic at the same time level clear. So this is what I'm so rebate is granted on the if the traffic is retained also. Suppose he is committed to give us 5 million tons. He is committed, is given guarantee on the 5 million tons. Suppose he retains the 5 million also, he will get some concession. So that is about LTTC. I've just given it briefly because that's a big subject. On South Central Railway, all 4 or 5 customers have availed this wonderful. Ultratech has availed, My Home Cements have availed, Bharati Cements has availed, and Vasavata Cements availed. So almost 4 customers, now 6 customers we have this on Indian Rail, on South Central Railway. So they are trying to get more loading to railways so that they're going to get benefit from this scheme. I told you about the LSFTO. So this the applicant of this LSFTO should be registered on Companies Act. Then he should offer minimum 1 rake he should procure from this scheme, and he should operate only on the approved scheme circuits. So this rake, the particular rake which he has purchased from the leasing company, he has to operate only the approved circuits. So he can suppose he has purchased a rake called BCCW. So BCCW is a type of rake through which he can move the bulk cement, loose cement, or he can load fly ash also. So based on his needs, suppose he needs fly ash from a thermal plant to the cement siding. So that circuit he will mention that, sir, from NTPC, that is on South Central we have this NTPC terminal, from NTPC to Vasavata Cements. So that circuit he will say, so that rake will move from NTPC to Vasavata Cements. So this is the approved circuit. Only in this approved circuit he is supposed to move this rake. So after approval from Railway Board, the agreement should be entered within 6 months, and he should procure the rake within 2 years of the approval. In this case, under this LSFTO, maintenance of wagons will be taken under railway only will maintain the cost. At the railway's own cost, we are going to maintain the wagons. And what is rebate we are going to give? That is special rebate we are going to give. That 12% rebate will be granted on the freight for 20 years. 12% rebate will be getting. That's a very good scheme. So he's going to recover whatever the cost he has invested, he's going to get that money back. So it is a win-win situation, both for railways as well as for the party, because party is able to get his consignment moved on his own wagons, and railway did not supply the wagons. Railway also is getting freight, and party is also getting concession as well as his guaranteed movement of the freight. In case of high capacity wagons, additional freight rebate of 2%, apart from 12%. Suppose the throughput is more than 10%, additional rebate of 2% is given. So he can apply, as I told you earlier, he can apply on the Freight Business Development Portal. This portal is online, he can apply online. On receipt of application of the party, the Railway Board verifies the documents and approves the procurement of rakes. After procurement rakes, an agreement is executed between the customer and railways, and notification is issued mentioning the closed circuits, the wagon numbers, the percentage of concession, period of concession, and other valid relevant details. So the wagons which are procured by the customer will not be in the Indian General Railway pool. Normally what happens, we don't know which wagon, suppose box and rake, it goes from Delhi to Bombay, Bombay to Guwahati, Guwahati to Hyderabad, Hyderabad to Chennai. So the wagon goes on roaming around the Indian Railways. But these wagons are not supposed to go anywhere except in the circuits which are notified by the concerned railway. So this agreement is valid for 35 years or till the period the rakes are operational, whichever is earlier. On completion of 20 years, no freight discount will be collected. No freight discount is extended. So this is basically about the LSFTO, Liberalized Freight Special Freight Train Operator Scheme. So engine and load scheme, this also I'm just trying to explain to you quickly. So that is called EOL. See, the objective of this EOL scheme is to utilize the rolling stock to help the customers in prompt clearance of the freight train from their siding terminals. So otherwise, normally if customer does not opt for this scheme, it is going to, the commodity is going to lie somewhere in the siding for days together. It's not going to move. But in this case of EOL, the freight will be moved promptly. It will be cleared very promptly. And the rolling stock also, since the engine is attached to the rake, the utilization of the rolling stock also will improve very drastically. The train engine under this EOL operations, the train engine will remain available during loading or unloading operation siding and wait on railway's account so as to work the train immediately after loading. So immediately after loading or unloading, the train will be worked out. Only thing is, the customer and the siding owners has to sign an agreement with zone of railway, and he has to unload within the free time. What are benefits to the customer? As I told you, exemption from engine hire charges. So as long as within the free time he is using the engine, he will not pay any engine hire charges. Exemption from siding charges. So he will not pay any siding charges. So no staff cost to be charged to the customer. So that is about the EOL, LSFTO, LTTC, LSFTO and EOL. Coming to AFTO, that is called Automobile Freight Train Operator Scheme. This scheme also is a very important scheme. So we found that very big company, big automobile companies like Maruti Suzuki, Hyundai, they are moving this their automobiles by rail. So under this scheme, the companies can procure their own rakes and they can arrange for loading, unloading. So this traffic includes passenger cars, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, mini trucks, tractors, chassis, shells of cars, automobile moved in CKD condition. That is knockdown condition. AFTO has to indent. So but the condition is he has to indent minimum of 3 rakes. And all these rakes are maintained by Indian Railways. They do not pay this maintenance cost. Otherwise, normally they have to pay 5% of the wagon cost. The agreement is valid for 20 years or till the period of the rakes are operational. The freight rates as notified from time to so the specialized freight rates are notified for this traffic, and whatever the freight rates prevalent during the time, that will be applicable to them. Even if one wagon is loaded, full rake should be charged. After fully loaded run with automobiles, backloading shall be permitted with automobile traffic verticals, auto ancillaries, auto spare parts as per the wagon load rates for DCAC BM. This is a type of wagon, the flat wagon. Reverse return direction, the spare parts also allowed. So this is about AFTO, Automobile Freight Terminal Operator. Another scheme called PFT, like in sidings, what the private sidings, there's a scheme called for the private freight terminals. So anybody can develop his, he can purchase a land and he can lay lines and he can be calling as PFT. So for that, he has to submit, he has to purchase a land or take a land on lease, and he can make arrangements for the trains to be loaded, unloaded. And he should provide resting canteen facilities, cost of commercial staff, one staff will be borne by TMC. PFT owner shall be permitted load, book and handle all traffic including coal and coke. So except sea priority coal, he is permitted to book all types of traffic. So what is the benefit he is going to get? He is going to get the 20 rupees benefit terminal charges. The PFT owner can himself 20 rupees per ton. So for each ton now railway is collecting 20 rupees in the RR itself. So that 20 rupees will be given to the reimbursed to the PFT owners. Freight booked from PFT is prepaid in all commercial and operating rules, including free time as applicable in goods shed for booking and supply of delivered goods also applicable. Freight for haulage charges or traffic booked from and to a PFT will be charged through distance basis. PFT has to install its own electronic in-motion bridges. So maintenance of track portion within rail boundary from takeoff point shall be borne by the TMC. Terminal charges of the consignment booked to the PFTs are refunded in the succeeding month. That is, as I told you, 20 rupees per ton, both for inward and outward traffic. This is reimbursed to the PFT. So a lot of benefits are there to the PFT owners. Then coming to general purpose wagon investment. So even this general purpose wagon scheme investment scheme is not that popular, but some railways have some customers have purchased these wagons and these rakes under this scheme called General Purpose Wagon Investment Schemes. So some railways, they're operating this, but some customers have purchased on some railways these general purpose wagons. What is general purpose wagon? Like Boxen, BCN, these are all called general purpose wagons. So they can purchase their own wagons. But what are the conditions? Party has to run minimum of 1 rake with 4% spare. The rake inductor shall not be merged with IR pool of wagons. Maintenance of wagons is undertaken by IR. So maintenance is by the party only. Party in the sense railway will maintain, but the party has to pay under this GPWIS. But here there is one condition called the empty run ratio. The empty run ratio for the stock originating and terminating in such group of the zones will be calculated, and only those circuits will be approved where the empty run ratio is at par or better. So that means where ERR is less. So whenever there's empty run ratio, the empty run ratio should be less. Then only these particular circuits will be approved by railway board. Only in these particular circuits only these general purpose wagons are allowed to move. So there is a benchmark called ERR, that is empty run ratio. So that will be approved by railway board only, and in only those circuits these rakes are supposed to move. So that basically because of this condition, it is not that popular, but some customers have procured rakes and they are running these rakes. So this is general purpose. Why we call it general purpose is general purpose wagons. General wagons like BCN wagon, general wagon, common wagon. Boxer is common wagon, BCNHL is common wagon. So what I was telling, LSFD is high special wagons like BCCW, BCNHL, BCCFM, BRNAHS. So these are all special purpose wagons. But in this GPWS, general wagons also can be purchased. But under GPS, the empty return ratio plays an important role. So the empty run ratio should be very less, and only this, unless this empty run ratio is less, and only in these circuits which are approved by railway board, only in those circuits these wagons are supposed to move. The rakes will operate between private siding or a PFTs or inland control depot. So these rakes can move from anywhere from the PFTs, from the ports or from the mines. These rakes can move. They can also operate railway goods shed subject to operation feasibility and permanent and payment of terminal access charge, ground usage charge, demurrage warfare. So normal stabling charges and all will be given. So what is the rebate? Rebate of 10% shall be given on the basis for price loan. 15 years is the minimum period. They have to enter an agreement 15 years and 10% rebate is given. In case of LSFTO, rebate of 12% is given. That's for 20 years. In case of this GPWIS, 10% is rebate is given for 15 years. So these are about the wagon investment schemes. And concession, other concession which are announced recently by railway board is now busy season surcharge has been withdrawn from 1st October. Earlier we used to levy 15% surcharge when the commodities are loaded in the busy season. As you are all aware that railway has 9 months of busy season and 3 months of lean season. So whenever the traffic is booked during the busy season, 15% used to be charged. Now we found that really that is a fine, that is a penalty to the customer, because we cannot levy busy season surcharge. So railway board has withdrawn this surcharge from 1st October 2019. From 2019 1st October, we are no more levying this busy season surcharge. Apart from that, again long lead concession from 15% 20% is granted to coal, iron ore and finished steel. I was talking about the clinker. Now to coal also, coal, iron ore and finished steel also, a concession for long lead concession is given to customers now. What is the long lead? So coal and coke, suppose it loads up to 400 kilometers, there is no concession. If he loads more than 400 kilometers, 20% concession is given. Iron and steel, suppose he loads more than 1600 kilometers, 20% concession is given. Iron, that is iron and steel. Iron ore, suppose he loads from 700 kilometers to 1500 kilometers, 15% concession given. And if it loads more than 1500 kilometers, 20% concession given. So this concession is given to the customers who are loading coal, iron ore and finished steel. That is called long lead concession. So one more concession is called short lead concession. The short lead concession is again given to customers who are loading less than 90 kilometers up to 100 kilometers. Then they are giving concession. For iron ore, suppose the customer is loading 0 to 50 kilometers, 50% concession. For 51 to 75 kilometers, 25% concession. If it's loading for 76 to 90 kilometers, 10% concession is given. So up to 50 kilometers, 50% concession is given. So again, long lead concession and short lead concession. So you can understand how many concessions have been extended to the customers. And one more concession called terminal access charge. So container train operators, whenever they want to access the goods sheds, suppose they want to load in the goods sheds, they have to pay this charge called terminal access charge. Now we are charging only 50% of it. The original charge is 1,60,000. Now we are charging only 50%, so that to encourage these container train operators to load from the goods sheds. So up to 31st, they are exempt from stabling charges, and 5%, 20% discount in haulage charges is loaded for empty containers. As I told you, this industrial salt and fly ash, 40% concession given. So these are all the concessions given to the customers. So apart from this, the Railway Board has taken lot of other steps to increase the doing of business, ease of business with the railways. So what happens is the doing business with the railways was very complicated. So board has thought about this. Now they have introduced a slew of measures so that the ease of doing business with the railway should be very easy. Now online payment system for freight charges has been introduced from 1/6/21. This is also one of the very good initiative introduced by Railway Board. Now earlier they have to either pay by e-payment or they have to pay freight through DDs. Now they can pay freight through credit card, debit card, RTGS, NFT. The customer can make payment of freight through credit card, debit card, RTGS, and NFT. So this is wonderful facility given to the customers. Now a lot of customers are availing this because he can pay through credit card, debit card, or RTGS, NFT. So 24/7, round the clock, this facility is available. So the customer need not come to the station, come to the goods shed and submit DDs. Suppose now the DD charges also he need not pay DD charges also. He need not come all the way to the railway station to pay the freight. So he not apart from the freight also the wagon registration fee, demurrage charges, warfare charges, siding charges, shunting charges, all these charges also he can pay through the credit card, debit card, or through RTGS or NEFT. And this portal was launched by the Honorable Prime Minister last year. This is called the Freight Business Development Portal. In this portal, the customers have a lot of features are there. If it is possible, you can just Google it and just type Freight Business Portal. You can find what are the facilities given to the customer. A lot of information is available in this portal, and the customers can apply directly, demurrage, warpays, tag information, rates, procurement, all through this portal. So do not come to the office. Earlier, for any such kind of permission, they have to come to the office, spend hours together around, go from pillar to post. But now he not come to the office, he can directly make payment and track also his application also. So he now registration of demand for wagon electronic. Earlier they have to do it. They used to do it manually. Now this wagon demand also they can place it online. Registration on that is called ERD. Electronically can do. RR. No, RR copy was manual earlier. Now electronic RR has been introduced. So automatically the electronic RR is generated and you can mail it to the consignor. So these are all the wonderful measures introduced by Railway Board. So the WDRF is online, electronic RR is online, and your business portal is online. You can pay your demurrage, warpay charges, everything, all your permissions and all, you can pay through this portal. Apart from this, a lot of other features are there now. Mini rakes now they are permit without distance restriction. Earlier there was distance restriction. Suppose you want to load a mini rake there was only 400 kilometers. Now it is extended. Now the customer can load up to beyond 2000 kilometers also. Up to 36/2022, this is valid now. 5% surcharge is levied, 7.5 and 10%, but he can load beyond 2000 kilometers also. So 2-point combination, that is enhanced to 500 kilometers. Earlier there was distance, only a restriction was there. No 2-point combination was allowed beyond 200 kilometers. Now up to 500 kilometers, now we can have 2-point combination. The BCNHL rate earlier he used to load only, he has to get minimum load 57 wagons to avoid the train load. Now the customer can load 42 wagons only. Now if you load 42 wagons, he can get the train load benefit. So pet coke also, this carrying capacity of pet coke also was reduced from 68 to 63 tons. Other measures are non-layout terminal charges, unloading point, and notified alternate goods sheds. So alternate goods sheds, as you all know that when a goods shed is busy season, busy goods shed, now Railway Board has notified alternative goods sheds. So when to prevent congestion at this goods shed, if a customer loads to the alternative goods sheds notified Railway Board, the terminal charges are not levied at these goods sheds, which are called alternative goods sheds. That is basically to decongest the busy goods sheds. So the traffic originating and terminating at this alternative goods sheds are exempted from paying terminal charges. On South Central, we have these locations as alternate goods sheds. The periodic charges also, there is heavy periodic charges earlier. Now the periodic charges also have been streamlined. The periodic charges for overloading at other than originating station will be levied from originating load to loading point to the destination. Now it has been only at the originating to the point of detection only. So now party did not pay the periodic charges right from the originating to the destination. He should pay the penalty charges from the originate to the only load adjustment point. So this is also was recommended South Central only. Railway Board has now removed that penalty clause. Now the party can pay only up the load adjustment point. Co-users have been removed now. Any number of co-users, in order to access the private siding, any number of co-users are permitted now. So maintenance charges now, earlier to maintain that railway portion of the track of the PFT and siding, maintenance charges railway used to collect. Now party can maintain, and he can only, railway did not collect any maintenance charges from the party. So this is also a new measure introduced by Railway Board. One more thing is this debit bar credit system. In case of demurrage and barpage, earlier what used to happen is the suppose a party free time is 9 hours, the party has taken time to unload say 12 hours. For 3 hours we used to collect demurrage charges. Now what we have, this Railway Board has introduced that new system called debit bar credit system. So what they have done is this 3 hours is debited to the customer. Suppose in next rake within the month he is unloading it in 6 hours instead of 9 hours, and this 3 hours which is debited against will be given credit. So it not pay any demurrage charges. So that is a wonderful step given to the customer. So this debit credit system, like your balance sheet. So for the whole month, we calculate how many hours he has loaded, he has taken more time, and suppose he has released the rake in lesser than the free time, that's credit to them, and this debit bar credit system is balanced. Or in case he is having but in case of credit we are not going to refund any month, but in case of debit, if he is getting more hours, debit hours, we are going to adjust against the credit hours. So ultimately net debit hours will be less. So this is also one of the very wonderful good measure introduced by Railway Board. So the demurrage charges has also been streamlined. So the parties now are not paying that much of demurrage charges. The rakes also are getting released because there's an incentive, so that they suppose he has incurred more debit hours in the 1 month, he is making adjustment in the same month, he is releasing the rakes quickly. So this now I think time is up now. this is the major incentive schemes which I have announced. So again, I can tell you about a lot of other policies are there. I'm now time is
We
not much.
conduct one more session, sir,
Yeah, we can have one more
because
session.
it is a lot of, this one is.
Yeah. So thank you. Thanks a lot. I hope you've all understood it. The various freight incentive schemes which I have explained to you, and hope now we have a good idea about what is the various schemes announced by Railway Board recently and how it has attracted the traffic and how the traffic is diverted. I'm just going to share an example that in case of STS, we have got additional revenue of almost 9 crores for 29 customers. What we have given concession, we have got additional revenue of 9.89 crores during these years. So like that, in the round trip concession also, we are getting additional revenue. These statements also I have with me, and this because of the LWS also, we have given a lot of rebate, and the customers are able to avail this concession, and they're happy, and railway also is getting a lot of traffic. And in case you have any other suggestions, any other ideas to further improve this traffic, you're most welcome. You can mail it to Mr. Nageshwara, or you can tell it to me. Definitely, we are here to listen to a suggestion. We can always forward this suggestion to Railway Board also, so that your suggestion will improve. So basically, we should all strive to increase the freight earnings of Indian Railways. So that should be the criteria for us. Thanks a lot. Any doubts? I am here to clarify, please.
Yeah, participants, please raise your hands. Any queries? Yeah, in the meantime, some queries in the chat box, sir.
Yeah.
It is what is meant by rebooking?
Rebooking. Rebooking is nothing but suppose a rake moves from point A to point B. Again, it is rebooked to point C. Again, the same rake is booked again to the point C. Rebooking. Nothing but booking again.
Yes, sir. Any more queries? If you are not able to speak, you can please message me. Sir, hope no queries from the participants, sir. Sir, it was a wonderful session, sir. Excellent, elaborated session. We'll conduct one more session, sir, because a lot of items, it is time not permitted.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining. Participants, tomorrow, again, the 36th session, it is same login time, that is 2:45. The session will commence at 3 p.m. And tomorrow's topic is the incentive schemes in the workshops, including CLW scheme and right scheme. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.